Jumping right back in, let's see what Otto has to say.
Ah, there you are, Clive. Word of your adventures arrived this morning. Victor sent his thanks.
He's welcome.
I doubt Kupka will miss the fools he sent to catch me. Not a single one of the bearers we saved showed any interest in coming with us. No one seems keen to join hands with an outlaw. Any news while we were away?
None worth mentioning. Gav's still off keeping an eye on the Republican army. Should be back any day now.
Understood. If anyone needs me, I'll be in the map room.
Talking with Vivian. Good job, Clive.
Still can't work that one out. There must be better places than the hull of a gutted airship to bury your nose in a book.
Yet this is where she's chosen to be. And I'm sure she has her reasons.
Let's go find out about him. Speak with Otto, speak with Vivian in the map room. Hello, Vivian.
I'd trust I'm not intruding.
Back from your mission? I'm beginning to think your habit of surviving cannot be attributed to luck alone.
It's called
Might say
skill.
the same of you, Vivian Ninetails.
I'll have you know that only 4 attempts have been made on my life, and none was especially memorable. So, to what do I owe the honor? Could it be that you've come for one of my lessons?
What do you mean?
Is that so hard to believe?
Very well then. Shall we start with the state of the realm?
Yes, please.
To
It's
absolutely
been
no
a long
one's surprise,
long time.
She finds herself at the mercy of armies and outlaws. Well, mostly armies. Though that's not for want of trying, is it, Clive? But the real question is, how did we get here?
Oh, hello. I like this.
Long though Sambrek's dominion over northeastern Storm has endured,
Wait. Alright.
days have seen the Blight wrest ever more land from her grasp. For which reason she has continued to wage war on her rival across the strait, hoping to claim less blackened pastures. But Odin would sooner pawn his sword than Waloed relinquish Ash. And the Empire pays dearly for every blade of grass bent beneath Sambrequois boots. Little wonder then that Sylvester set his sights on the Crystalline Dominion, an altogether easier target, possessed of no less ether. It was 5 years ago, while you were busying yourself with the destruction of Drake's Head, that the Empire made its move, subjugating its theretofore neutral neighbor. A nation which could legitimately claim to be the center of the world. Certainly, there is no better place to stage an army. From there, the Holy Empire's reach spans the Twins. The non-aggression treaty was the only thing keeping them in check. But if they truly broke the pact without provocation, it is only a matter of time before others reply in kind. The Holy Empire, the Dhalmekian Republic, the Kingdom of Waloed, and of course, our friends in Yaran. Who will be left standing, I wonder, when the last drop of blood is spilled?
Waloed has half a continent eaten away by
You were
blight.
born in
They're not
Twinside.
gonna do well.
Do you not fear for your home?
Oh,
They only have a bit
dark
of
clouds are wont
bit
to
of
gather
time
over the
left.
Dominion. Yet in spite of it all, she has ever endured. And when the storm has passed, I am confident she will remain. Now, as to the matter of payment for today's lesson, complete a simple errand for me and we shall consider ourselves even.
Okay.
Even. Right.
Return this volume to old tomes in the shelves. Tell him it was adequate.
Alright.
I suppose it wouldn't hurt to visit our resident historian.
I was wondering where he was. I missed him. Oh yeah, shelves. Okay, he's back there. Gotcha. So, when are we going to get this thing flying?
Look, it's said.
Yes, it is. No.
As hither yon dance autumn winds.
Nope. Nope. No, absolutely not. Move quickly. Face shift. Phoenix shift. Oh, hello. Can we get this thing working with these things? What do you think, Tomes?
Norseman Harpocrates.
Now that is a name I have not heard for a long time. So long, in fact, I had half forgotten it was mine. Welcome home, Clive. You were missed, as always.
I believe this belongs to you. Vivian asked me to return it.
On gods and men.
Ready? Our resident scholar devours books faster than young Tet does lemon tarts. Would that I could do the same. But alas, I no longer possess the necessary constitution for such indulgence, either in words or tarts. That said, I have continued my search for mention of the creature you encountered at Drake's Head. But without access to the great libraries of Oriflamme or the Dominion, I regret that I have been able to find little and less. I am sorry.
But what have you
Please.
found?
Don't apologize.
You found
send
little,
word
but
to
that
our
doesn't mean
associates.
nothing.
See if they can't furnish you with more books.
I fear it is not more books that I require, but the right ones. Mayhap we look in the wrong places. There are still libraries to the north.
I'll see what I can do.
You are too kind. There are not many in this world who would indulge the whims of a tired old historian.
Not too tired to go filching Kupo nuts, though. Always got a pocket for him. Nicks him off the Moogle.
Hush now. We all know there's no such thing as Moogles.
The twins seem well.
Aye. Yet they laugh far too little for one so young. The loss of their parents weighs heavy on them, however well they hide it. Titan took much from us that night, from some more than others, and the wounds that remain, they are not quick to heal.
Which is why we must give them all the time they need.
That we must. Just as I must give you the time you need to recuperate. Good day, Clive.
Good day.
What do you mean? I'm good to go. Send me back out.
Gav will be back soon. I should get some rest while I can.
Actually, hold on.
Is there something I might assist you with, Clive? I have compiled some new entries, if you would like to see them.
Nice.
I have quite the find for you today.
It's a revelation. The Continental Accord, an international pact made at the dawn of the present era in which such matters as the treatment of bearers and the establishment of a realm-wide currency were laid out. It formed the bias of much of Velithian society as it stands today, including the branding of bearers and their status as non-persons. It also put in place a universal calendar, making a symbolic fresh start for mankind, albeit one which put magic users at a crippling disadvantage. The founder. Fear and uncertainty reigned in those early years following the sins of Desmaki, not wanting to further incur the wrath of the heavens. The few who survived the fall took to wandering the land, spurring magic and staying to the shadows, and so they lived for decades. One man, however, grew tired of this life, if it could be called that, and after bidding his companions farewell, climbed a grassy knoll overlooking a forest of beech and alder. Here he gathered a pile of rubble and used it to build a humble shelter in which he spent the night. The next morning, however, instead of abandoning his work, as was his people's wont, he gathered more rocks, adding to the structure until the shelter had become a shack. This he continued for days, weeks, until the shack had become a home. At first, those few wanderers who passed the knoll would shun him, cursing the man under their breath for his hubris. But as his estate grew, and one building became two, and two, three, the people began to slow their steps, and it was not long before some took in joining him on that knoll, gathering stones, building new lives, new destinies. This they did without magics or machines, without boons or blessings. They relied on naught but their hands and their backs, their wills and each other. And slowly house gave way to village, village to town, and town to nation. The man who would one day die, as all men do, but those who remained continued his legacy, expanded upon it, and though his name was eventually forgotten, his spirit lives on to this day in the hearts of all Rosarians. Legend of the founder, Moss the Chronicler.
What subject shall we consider today?
Oh my god, there's so much. There's so much. What does leveling up give me? Just new entries? Leader of the faction believed responsible for the shattering of Drake's Head in 873. With this single act of infamy, Cid's name quickly spread to the four corners of Lithia and beyond. Vivian Ninetales, a scholar and strategist who makes her home in the Hideaway, analysing every shred of information that comes in from the wider world in order to divine the disposites of the realm's armies and those who lead them. She offers her insight to Clive, and that he might better understand the lay of the land. The moniker Ninetales, of which she herself is fond, was gifted her by her fellow scholars in recognition of her ability to speak at length on almost any subject. Not sure that really computes. A friend of Cid's and later Clive's, who keeps an ever-attentive vigil on the comings and goings of Dhalmekia from his hometown of Constnice, a town located in the rugged northern reaches of the Dhalmekian Republic, though it was once a thriving trading post. The coming of the Blight has served to both disencourage travellers as well as drive off long-time residents. All that now remains of refugees fleeing from elsewhere, the Black Marketeers, who prey upon them, and barely enough soldiers to keep the peace, or rather to pretend when they're not being bribed or look the other way. The fall of the Hideaway, an assault by Hugo Kupka, dominant of Titan, and his private guard on the first hideaway of Cid the Outlaw in the year 873. The safe haven, established amongst forgotten ruins, long consumed by the Blight, was entirely destroyed, and many of Cid's collaborators and the bearers they had freed from servitude were slain. We'll work our way down to the bestiary. Oh my god, why does everyone have a new one? Oh my word. Okay. 5 years on. Cool, you can see the change. I'll go with just 5 years on. I don't know about this one. Yeah, I'll just go with 5 years on. An Imperial bearer turned ally of Cid, the Outlaw. In truth, however, is something much more. Okay, no, this one. After Cid fell and his hideaway was reduced to rubble at the hands of Hugo Kupka, Clive took on both his predecessor's name and role, becoming the second Cid the Outlaw and leader of the re-established resistance. Together with the other survivors and their new recruits, he continues Cid's mission to emancipate bearers and rid the realm of Mother Crystals. Joshua Rosfield. Mysterious hooded man who many believe to be the Dominant of Fire. He's never seen outside the company of his faithful attendant. After being captured by Benedicta's intelligences and imprisoned in Caer Norvent, he slipped free from his bonds and escaped to Phoenix Gate. Dominant of the Phoenix and former heir to the ducal throne, Joshua was thought to have died at the hands of the second Icon of Fire during the disaster of Phoenix Gate. However, he is very much alive, travelling the realm even now, his true identity hidden by a heavy cowl and assumed name, that of Lord Margrace. Jill hasn't changed much in 5 years, it doesn't seem. Yeah, she really hasn't changed much. I don't believe, anyway. Dominant of Shiva and Clive's childhood friend, after Clive and Cid spirited her away from the battlefield where she was being forced to fight for the Ironblood, Jill was placed in the care of the Hideaway's talented Vizier, Tarja, wonderful lady, who nursed her back to health. 5 years have now passed since the fall of Drake's Head, and she of Clive continues Cid's mission to emancipate bearers and rid the realm of Mother Crystals. Dominant and Shiva, entrusted confidant of Clive, leader of the new hideaway. Together they continue the mission. Yeah. Doggle, you changed much? You look paler? Bigger, maybe? I don't know. Clive's faithful friend, he is fiercely protective of him and his allies, loath as he is to lose his best friend again, and never strays far from Clive's side, putting the hunting skills Cid taught him to use in fending off foes and picking up trails. Yeah, where the hell's Ambrosia? We want a goddamn Ambrosia! Leader of the hideaway and dominant of Ramuh, Warden of Thunder, is planned to create a world where bearers and dominants could die on their own terms, meant destroying the Mother Crystals, an act of blasphemy that would see him forever denounced as an outlaw. It was during their mission to fell Drake's head in 873 that Sidolphus Telamon lost his life to a beast from the beyond, passing the title Cid the Outlaw on to his protege Clive. Following Garuda's defeat, commander of the Kingdom of Waloed's elite intelligences and dominant of Garuda, after Clive took her power at Caer Norvent and the keep was set to fire, she and her comrades were forced into making a hurried retreat, only to be set upon by bandits. What was left of Benedicta's power ran amok, summoning forth a raging whirlwind within, which she was at last to lose her life at the hands of Clive Rusfield and his Ifrit icon Ifrit. Chief Steward of Clive's hideaway, Otto continues to serve the same role he did under Cid, being the primary person in charge of all the monies and information coming into and going out of the hideaway. Permanent economic advisor of the Dhalmekian Parliament and dominant of Titan, he has little love for his country, taking advantage of his position to benefit himself and himself alone. After learning that Cid the Outlaw, the man who slew the love of his life Benedicta Harmon, still lives, he tasks his personal guard with capturing and torturing bearers in order to draw out his nemesis and take his revenge. So he doesn't know that Clive is now the new Cid. Good to know. Firstborn son and loyal subject of Emperor Silvester, ruler of the Holy Empire of Sanbreque, as well as leader of the Empire's most elite fighting force, the Dragoons, Dion is also the dominant of Bahamut, Warden of Light, and has often been called upon to summon his icon in defense of his countrymen, most recently in the year of the realm 873, when Odin took to the field against them in the Battle of Belenus Tor. I remember the cinematic, though I don't remember much of the icons. One of Cid's most trusted allies after Cid's hideaway was laid waste to by Hugo Kupka and his minions, she and her hard-working yet long-suffering apprentice Gult followed Clive to the new hideaway in Ben-Amir, where they serve him in the same capacity they followed his predecessor, sorting whatever supplies her fellow residents are in need of. Very nice. Apprentice to Charon, an ally of the hideaway. After Cid's hideaway was reduced to rubble at the hands of Hugo Kupka, he followed his nan in joining Clive at their new home on the lake. He has a keen interest in smithing and spends what little spare time he is granted heating and hammering metal, just as Blackthorn showed him. Very nice. King of Waloed and dominant of Odin, the Warden of Darkness. At the Battle of Belenus Tor, he not only took personal command of the royal army, but rode into the fray himself, galloping through the air atop his six-legged steed and goading Bahamut into a duel that shook the skies. Very cool fight. Resident blacksmith of Clive's hideaway, where he keeps the new Cid the Outlaw and his allies well outfitted with arms and armour, though he is usually a southern and secretive sort. His knowledge he is happy to share with Gult, who has long been eager to learn the art of smithing. Okay, thank God. We're getting into less stuff now. The hideaway is residential historian after Cid's death and the destruction of his home. It does not change. He joined Clive at the new hideaway, establishing a grand library within the walls of the fallen ruin, from whence he continues to share his knowledge with any who will listen. He has taken the orphan twins Tet and Crow as his apprentices, though they have yet to prove the most attentive audience. Yeah. Gort. Otto's loyal lackey, tasked not only with keeping the ledgers, but with reading and sorting the myriad reports that enter the hideaway and arranging assistance for those in need. Born a bearer, Gaunt was kept as a slave to an Oriflamme tavern, whose keeper would beat him bloody. After being thrown out onto the city streets as punishment for a minor mistake, it was his fortune to be found by Otto, who took him back to the hideaway. That is good. That is very good. Chief Cook at Sid's hideaway, who lost his life on the night of Hugo Kupka's attack. He was well loved both for his ever genial nature and the toothsome fare he concocted from the limited ingredients available in the Deadland home. Indeed, many of Kenneth's dishes remain on the menu in Clive's new hideaway. Sorry, my dude. One of a pair of young twins who assisted Harpocrates in the hideaway library, or at least who are tasked to. In practice, he spends most of his time reading books and teasing tomes with his sister Crow. Though their parents were both bearers, Tet was spared that burden. Alas, he was not spared the tragedy of losing both his mother and father when Sid's hideaway was laid low. One of a pair of young twins who assist Harpocrates in the hideaway library, or at least are tasked to. In practice, she spends most of her time reading books and teasing tomes with her brother Tet. Born a bearer like her parents, she but spared the prejudice and persecution that they were forced to suffer. At last, she was not spared the tragedy of losing both her mother and father when his hideaway was laid low. Bernard. A carpenter who resides at Mother's Rest, whose speed and skill, together with the surrounding marshes, warded deleterious effects on the planks and piles of the village's many bridges, keep his services in high demand. God damn, that was a lot. Attendant to Margrace, sort of a servant of a man who goes by the name Lord Margrace. Together they travel across the twins to some unknown end. Rodney Murdoch, Lord Commander of the Rosarian Army, outranked only by his former friend Archduke Elwyn. When Clive manifested into Ifrit during the attack on Phoenix Gate, Murdoch lost his life to the Infernal Icon's flames. Wife of Rodney Murdoch, Lord Commander of the Rosarian Army. Since her marriage, she resides in the Murdoch Manor in Eastpool, remaining there even after her husband's death at Phoenix Gate. Alas, her time was also to be cut short at the hands of the villainous servants of Empress... I forgot about Annabella. Emperor of the Holy Empire of Sambrique, who won his throne at least partially by virtue of his son Dion having awakened as the dominant of Bahamut. The High Cardinal. First and foremost of the 5 cardinals who make up the Council of Elders, second only to the Holy Emperor in the Imperial Government. It is his role to lead the Council in governing Sambrique in the Emperor's stead, and providing the latter does not overrule his decisions, his authority is absolute. Whew, okay, almost there. Second in command of the Dragoons, the foremost fighting force of the Holy Empire of Sambrique, his sword remains ever at the ready should anyone be foolish enough to make an attempt on the life of his liege lord, Prince Dion. The mysterious Watcher. Scion of a lesser noble family of Dalmatic, tasked by Hugo Kupka to trace the whereabouts of Sid. Oh yeah, he was one of the dudes cutting down people in the hideaway. Whereabouts of Sid the Outlaw, the man he believes slew Benedict de Harmon. His investigation led him to Eastpool, where he overhears Clive and Gab's conversation and follows them back to Sid's hideaway. Right, yeah, I forgot about that. Medicine Girl. An orphan girl who pays for her bread by making and selling medicines. Why does she have a whole thing here? An otherworldly being that Clive encountered in the inner sanctum of Drake's head. He addressed Clive as Mythos before attempting to merge their consciousnesses. However, Clive was able to summon the will to resist the creature before Joshua returned from the dead to imprison it in a cage of flame that he sealed away in his own heart. Thanks for that, Josh. You were very nice. Valithia, oh my god. A realm comprising the twin continents of Storm and Ash, over which the Mother Crystals stand timelessly vigil, I think would have worked better. Timeless that is, until Cid and his disciples commence the campaign to bring each one, starting with Drake's Head, crashing down, spreading chaos and confusion throughout the great cities and nations of Valithia. Sorry about that, needed a short break to rest my throat and get a drink. A place of worship located in the depth of Phoenix Gate, an ancient stronghold on the northwestern border of the former Duchy of Rosaria. A large mural dominates this sacred chamber, with a rite of ancestral communion, a ceremony carried out by the Duchy's dominant prior to marching in battle, was once performed. See, now I don't know what kind of icon that is, because it's clearly not Ultima. Because Ultima does not have 6 wings, 2 of them coming out from his legs. A hideaway refuge built on fallen ruins in the blighted lands of Central Storm. Here, Cid and his adopted family of freed bearers from across the Twins made their home. That is, until the fledgling utopia was brought crashing down after its location was discovered by Hugo Kupka, dominant of Titan, in the year 873. In but a single night, the hideaway was destroyed, fewer than half managing to escape the slaughter visited upon them by Kupka and his men. Yeah, they were dicks. Ducal loyalists. Those who maintain allegiance to the late Archduke Elwin and work for the revival of the fallen Duchy of Rosaria. After Rosaria was incorporated into the Empire, most swore loyalty to the new Vicereine, the Empress Annabella, even more converting after they saw how those who refused to change their allegiances were persecuted. Their persecution was only to grow, culminating in the burning of Eastpool by Imperial troops on the pretext that the reluctance to surrender Rezalis bearers to the constabulary proved their disloyalty to the Holy Throne. The term had a different meaning in the time before Imperial occupation. Rosaria was founded by the union of several small independent nations, each led by its own noble house. These houses remained powerful even after unification, sometimes leading to friction between the loyalists, who argued for the Archduke's ultimate authority, and these separatists who pushed for a return to autonomy. Cool. In the year 861, taking advantage of the discord arising from Rosaria's internal woes in the wake of the Night of Flames, the Ironblood launched an attack that inflicted devastating losses on an already crippled nation, robbing it of what little power remained. Later that same year, Sanbreque stepped in and forced the once proud duchy to submit to one final humiliation by becoming a vassal state of the Empire, just as Duchess Annabella and her imperial conspirators had planned. Just a bastard, isn't she? A hamlet located in the eastern part of the imperial province of Rosaria was once surrounded by fertile farmland, but the southward creep of the Blight eventually drove out most of the inhabitants. In the aftermath of the attack on Phoenix Gate in 860 and the Ironblood invasion that followed, many fled here, including bearers who had lost their masters. The majority of that population, however, was wiped out in the culling of bearers ordered by Empress Annabella, and the village now lies abandoned and in ruins. That's unfortunate. The Purge of Eastpool. The Purge was a brutal attack on the Rosarian village of Eastpool in the year 873. Annabella Lesage, Holy Empress of Sanbreque and Vicereine of Rosaria, ordered that all bearers being harboured by the villagers be slaughtered, along with those ducal loyalists who had given them shelter. In the ensuing massacre, Eastpool's population was effectively decimated, and ultimately the village was abandoned. It's unfortunate. An area of marshland in the eastern part of the imperial province of Rosaria, just south of Martha's Rest, numerous shacks and hovels dotted about the swamps suggest that the area was once at least sparsely populated. However, now most lie broken and abandoned, their owners having fled for more habitable climes once the waters began to rise. Oh god, there's so many things here. How much more have I got? A decent amount. Alright. After the fall of Drake's Head. A nation occupying the northeastern reaches of the continent of Storm after suffering the ignominy of losing Drake's Head to an audacious assault by the outlaw Cid in 873, the Empire set its sights on the mother crystal of its nearest neighbour, the Crystalline Dominion. Sunbreak's legions duly stormed the historically neutral territory and installed the imperial capital at Twinside. This brazen act of conquest sent shockwaves across Philithia and heightened the already considerable tension between the Empire and the Dominican Republic. Yeah, I imagine they're pretty mad. Capital no longer. Former capital of the Holy Empire of Sanbreque after its mother crystal was destroyed in attack by Cid the Outlaw in the year 873, the decision was made to move the throne and her armies south to the Christian Dominion. Regardless of whether or not the Dominion's citizens approved, Oriflamme has since fallen gradually into decline, having lost the mother's blessing and all the benefits it brought. Yeah, I imagine they're pretty pissed about that. The towering citadel from which the Holy Empire of Sanbreque rules over the entirety of the Dimensne, with the Mother Crystal rising above it and the imperial capital of Oriflamme spread out below. This ivory edifice is truly a wonder to behold. I mean, it was. After the Mother's fall. The Mother Crystal upon whose wings did Sanbreque ascend to geopolitical supremacy, it towered over the holy capital of Oriflamme, its mighty silhouette a testament to the power and permanence of the Empire. And then, in the year 873, it fell at the hands of Cid the Outlaw. Why did they all just forget about us? We were there. We were doing stuff. We helped. In the year 873, Cid the Outlaw, along with certain of his allies, that doesn't make sense, infiltrated the Sanbreque's capital of Oriflamme, bringing down its mother crystal in a daring and unprecedented attack. Investigators, after the fact, concluded that the infiltrators took advantage of the disturbance caused by the ether flood to gain entry to the Empire's holy sanctum. In the aftermath of the incident, Cid was declared a wanted man, and the faction he led a criminal enterprise to be hounded across Philithia. Council of Elders. According to the Holy Empire of Sanbreque and the highest body of government in the Empire, the Council consists of 5 cardinals of the Gregorian Church, who are intended to rule in the Empire's stead. The Emperor, meanwhile, is expected to serve as a constitutional monarch, but there is little to prevent one who wishes to impose their will upon the Council from playing a more audacious role. The 5 cardinals, the senior statesmen that make up the highest office of government in Sanbreque after the Emperor himself, the Council of Elders. The Council is comprised of the High Cardinals, representative of central Sanbreque and the holy capital Oriflamme, and the 4 cardinals who administer the outer provinces, the northern, southern, eastern and western seas. The Hanged Man. Quinton's Tavern in Lostwing. It is very much the beating heart of the village. Not only do the villagers congregate here to eat, drink and make merry, it is also frequented by travelling traders seeking to load their wagons with Lostwing's famous wine. Does look like pretty good wine. Oh god, this one has a lot more. When following the fall of Drake's Head, when Sanbreque moved its capital to the Crystalline Dominion, Northreach went from being a vital gateway to the seat of the Empire to a forgotten country backwater in a matter of moons, and with the fall of Drake's Head, the ether was soon leached from the land around it, leaving the fields fallow and the once thriving environs barren and lifeless. Sorry, Duke, Duchess. I imagine things are not too well for you at the moment. Northreach's premier house of companionship, while it is frequented mainly by Sanbreque's nobility and military, Lady Isabel welcomes all within with the desire and the coin to partake of the pleasures her skilled courtesans and courtiers offer. I haven't actually seen the word courtiers before. Few establishments in the Empire are as well loved or as oft visited. Yeah, no surprise there. A farming village located in the rye fields of the Royal Meadows, not far from the Sambricose, capital of Oriflame. Her residents harbour a strong hatred for bearers, more even than elsewhere in the Empire, making it a very dangerous place to visit for those who bear the brand. Oh yeah. Orabel Downs, in the southwestern Sambrique, where the Great Wood ends, lie the secluded meadows of Orabel. Here the soil is rich and the climate temperature, while the sloped terrain provides ample runoff for rain, making the location perfect for the growing of vine grapes. Something the residents of nearby Lostwing take very seriously. Oh yeah, they love the freaking stuff. An expansive river valley that cuts through southern central Sambrique. The fortress of Caer Novent rises along its eastern edge. Gotcha. The Tempest. Garuda Fallen. Here once did rage a storm born of dominance madness, a storm within which the icons Garuda and Ifrit clashed, and from which only one would emerge. The struggle saw the landscape razed as halts, farms and villages that had stood for ages were in but mere moments struck from existence. Now all that remains is a blackened waste, somehow even more lifeless than the blighted Deadlands. Goddamn. The Breadbasket. A region overlooking the Strait of Ortha in the eastern part of Sambrique, the bounty provided by its rich soil fed the Empire for generations until the ever-encroaching blight intervened, displacing thousands in the process, a disturbance which played no small part in the troubles that were later to engulf the Imperial capital. So they were already kind of screwed. Like, the blight was coming in, they were already kind of falling off, if you will. A key strategic point in central Sambrique, its location just south of Oriflame makes it a vital first line of defence against any assault on the whole capital. The road from Northreach to Caer Novent and beyond to the Crystal Belt bisects the area, ensuring a constant traffic of Sambricosis soldiers and travelling merchants. Intriguing. The nation formed from a federation of 5 smaller states, it is located in the southern half of the continent of Storm and has its capital at Randella, also home to the mother crystal known as Drake's Fang, inside which stands Castle Hasburg, home of Hugo Kupka, dominant of Titan. Kupka, obsessed with finding Cid and exacting his revenge for the murder of Benedict de Harmon, co-opted the soldiers of the realm and had them commit a series of atrocities in an attempt to flush him out of hiding. Dragon Eyrie. A gently sloping plain stretching east from Sambrique's checkpoint of Northreach. As the name implies, it is heavily populated with all manner of wild worms, and as such the land remains relatively unspoiled by mankind. I wouldn't go in there if it's dotted with worms either. A castle built within the dome-like mountain that contains Drake's Fang, it is the primary residence of Hugo Kupka, dominant of Titan, and is lavishly appointed to suit his extravagant tastes. Alright, so I know I've still got quite a bit more to go, but I am going to end things there. I really can't read anymore at the moment. Plus, I can't go on for much longer for this episode. Otherwise, it will go on for too long. If you enjoyed, like, share, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff. I'll see you all later, where we will probably continue this next episode, get this all finished off. That'll maybe take another episode. We'll see. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, like, share, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff I said before. Have a good day and goodbye.